Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Coffee and Conversations with G3. If this is your first time joining us, you're welcome. And if this is not your first time, thank you for sticking around. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Today, we have a very, very special guest. Um, my friend, in fact, if I feel call him my mentor, you know, is my friend. Is a Let me just read you his portfolio. I think that's what does it best. Anthony isn't just another consultant. He's someone who has been deep inside the trenches of African businesses, seeing firsthand why good people often get stuck with bad business structures. As the founder of Boltzmann, did I pronounce it right? Boltzmann. Anthony has spent years helping entrepreneurs fix broken systems, close more sales, and finally grow without working themselves into the ground. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Anthony Rosario. Drum rolls, please. Thank you. So, I like to start every episode with asking how you got to where you are. What did you study? And are you working in the field of what you studied? And if not, why the transition or what led to the transition?
So we both went to school together.
Yes.
uh, I think the whole story starts from my childhood. So I grew up in the family of my parents were entrepreneurs. My dad had a computer company back then in the early 2000s. He was working with banks and all, trying to help them come into the whole internet revolution and everything like that. My mom had several businesses, fashion, she had a restaurant, she even did exports at some point. So growing up, I saw them like on the good days and the bad days.
Yeah.
I saw some of the mistakes they made rather. Um, Not having a good structure, trusting the wrong people, not being compliant at times with like government regulations and all. So I saw some of the mistakes and then normally I just learned them. I studied physics in school, by the way.
Okay.
So I got to NYSC and I saw some of my friends, like hostel mates,
Yeah.
NCCF family house, starting up businesses. And I would just give my little advice. Oh, try this, don't do this. And it will work. And I became that guy that if you want to start something, just meet him. After NYSC, I came back to Lagos and I couldn't get a job. So hustle now. You need advice, pay money. So that was how it started. I just became that guy.
Yeah.
And I and my co-founder, we decided, okay, you know what? Why don't we set up something? COVID happened and that helped because
Yeah.
my co-founder is a tech guy.
Okay.
So COVID happened, people needed a website, people needed to go online. So he would do the website thing, I would offer the advice, and that was how it just grew. Today we're a company that basically helps businesses set up systems, you know, put the right structure so that they don't make the same mistakes I saw my parents make.
So when you look at small business, the small business boom in Nigeria, what exactly do you think is fueling it? Passion, pressure, or potential? Because it seems like we have a lot of startups these days. So what do you exactly do you think is there a passion for the work? Is it just the pressure to make it, or is it just people are realizing, oh, they have more potentials now than they ever did before?
I think it's a mixture of so many factors. There are more opportunities today than there has ever been in any time in history. So people are recognizing those opportunities, and even people who have 9 to 5 jobs have like some sort of side hustles that they do. So it's both opportunity, some it's passion, and some it's just economic realities. Oh, I can't get a job.
Yeah.
Let me try and do this to at least make little income. So it's everything.
Okay. So let me ask you a personal question now. You said you help small businesses. Can you give me an example of one small business like you really helped turn around? And what was the thing that you had to change to help that turn around? Like an actual example.
There is currently there's a client we currently have.
Yeah.
He has a food business, but he's having staff issues.
Yeah.
Like he has about 6 locations, but managing those 6 locations with staffing, um, theft. So that's one what we're currently working on. So what we did was we came in, looked at the entire company culture, looked at the structure.
Yeah.
How are these guys able to steal? How are these guys able to what what doesn't he have? All right. So that's sort of like what we do. So what we did, what we're currently doing is putting in the right structure for him.
Yeah.
First things first, if you have 6 locations, you need somebody to manage all the staff.
Yeah.
You need an accountant to check all of this. You need a production lead to make sure that all the food and everything is in place. You need a health safety person. So those are like kind of examples. Another example would be um, a tech startup. Yeah. That we're currently working with. The guy has an idea. I don't want to mention names, yeah, but he had an idea. And so what we did was market research. Researched all the ideas he had, which one was the most viable, which one did customers want, ran surveys for him, and then said, okay, this is the one that people said they would pay more. Yes, this is what your big passion is, but this is what will pay you. So make the money first, yeah, then you can use the money to fund your.
So when we talk about small businesses, one thing I realized a lot of them begin, and we have the tech startups, the ones who are more, even the ones with you should think they have a lot of structure. A lot of them start with just the vibes and the hustle of it all. And you find out when you really go into the business, there's no structure, there's no systems in place. But they are making money, things are going well. So as someone who has had very, very a lot of interaction with small businesses, where do you actually think a business should even start before, because there has to be a starting point? Is it with just start? We have this idea of just do it, just start. Should people just start, or should there be structures in place first from the beginning?
I would say there's a way to start, there's a right way to start. When people say just start, I agree, because if you don't start, you can't even know. But there's a right way to start. And how I recommend people start is test the market. Before you start writing any business plan or doing anything, whatever you're doing, test it with 2 to 3 people first. Yeah. If they like it, okay, this is what works. You ask them for feedback. What did you like? What did you not like? You document it. Now, when you document it, you take that thing you've documented, take it again to the next 3 customers that you've had. And before you know, you have a running business, you have returning customers. Yeah. Now, from the get go, remember I said documents. Structure is simply DTD. That's document, you test, then you delegate it. Okay. So what you do is for everything that works, you document. For everything that doesn't work, you also document and see how I can make this better. Then you go and test it. When you've tested it 2, 3 times that it works, that's when you can bring in someone and say, this is how this should be done. This is how this should be done. So there is now some sort of structure. What people do is they start a business, they make money. Yeah. Then they need somebody to cover up some tasks. Yeah. Then that person comes in with their own ideas and they just say, oh, so this is how we do it, to just do it. There's no formal training, there is no teaching of this is how I do it, this is the process, this is step 1, step 2, step 3. Without that employee comes in, does his own thing his own way, and then there's some sort of clash of, oh, this is not how I do it, oh, I did not know. All of that process.
Let's go back to one of the things you said. You talked about one of your clients that had a business and he found out that he really didn't have any structures. We hear people say a lot of times that the business is a reflection of the owner. Is that always true? Because there are, we all work with people. We all see people on our day-to-day life. Some people are just, no matter how much you try to explain how things should be done, you know, they still do it their own way. But it seems like it's a general consensus that the business is a reflection of the owner. So is that something that, for example, if someone is watching this and has a business that has employees and has this, because sometimes there are people who have different people come in and go out of the company and the same thing keeps happening over and over again. Is that a structure thing? Is that a reflection of is you that you're a thief, that your people are stealing. You know, like where exactly is the, can we say, okay, it's not me, it's a structure issue, or it's not a structure issue because you might have the right structure, but your personality is just coming to play in your business. Yeah. So how do you separate that? What is the difference?
Every business is a reflection. Every business culture, the culture in a business, is a reflection of the leader, which is every most times the business owner, right? So, um, okay, every business, the culture in a business is a reflection of the leader. It's why in an organization, if something goes wrong, the first person that has to go is the leader because they set the tone, they set the rules. Yeah. So if, like for example, me, I'm a very introverted person, and there's a tendency that my business is full of introverts because I don't like chaos, I don't like noise. But with the structure in place, yeah. Remember, I had to document, then test it, and then delegate. Now, it doesn't matter what I like or what I want. This is how it should be done. These are the rules. So, whether I like it or not, because there are rules, even I have to follow those rules. All right. So when I go to a business and there is some sort of cultural issue, the first thing I ask is, can I speak to the owner or the manager? And then by sitting down with them, I can tell, okay, this is where they are lacking. Or even if they have rules, they are not probably enforcing the rules because of their personal bias or things. So we have to remove that and say, "Mm-mm, this is the system. These are the rules. This is what you implement, whether you feel like it or not, whether you like the staff or not, whether the staff is your friend or not. Rules are rules. So there has to be that at some point. There has to be that separation of personal and official.
I'm not a football fan. Yeah. I don't watch football at all. But I was with someone, I don't know if it was yesterday or a couple of days ago. I don't know. And I'm so sorry. Honestly, I don't know anything about it. So, like, no one should drag me. I don't know anything about it. I was listening to someone talk. I was watching a a game, I think it was Man United, oh, yeah, and someone else. And I really don't know anything about it, to be honest. But the amount of hate he had towards the coach was so it was stunning to me because the coach is not playing. And like I've always heard about how footballers make so much money. If you make so much money and you're so disciplined and good, why does the person that's actually playing the team is not doing it right, but it's someone who is not playing that now gets all the blame? Or like, I also don't really watch basketball, but I'm more familiar with the environment of basketball, and I know that once a team is doing bad, the first person to go is the coach. Why?
Everything rises and falls on leadership. Everything in this world. When you have a good leader, it's not, and it's important to say that good leadership doesn't just mean people have to like you. Yeah. So if there is good leadership where they set the culture, yeah, they set the tone, this is how we are going to operate, this is what we are going to do, then everybody in the organization either has to fall in line or you get out. That's what good leaders do. So sometimes you might be a skilled person in a particular field, and you might understand how to do it, but you might not necessarily be a good leader to the people you hire. And let me say this here, not every founder has to be the CEO.
Okay, explain.
Because you started the business will get to a point where things you might not be able to lead the people the way you need to. Yeah. So at that point, you get somebody who is skilled in that. There are people who are not good business people, or like they might not be skilled in that, but they understand the business, how it runs. So, for example, Man United, the coach is the one who sets the tone. He's the one who tells the players this is how we are going to play. So it is natural that if the players are not performing up to expectations, the first thing before you even ban the players is the coach to say, what is going on? You are responsible for the outcome. Then, if the coach is okay, because he still selects the players, he still has the power to tell the superiors, I don't want this guy, this person is not good. So everything rises and falls on leadership. So as a business owner, apart from learning the skill, you also have to learn the business of that skill, and then you also have to learn leadership, because leading people is a whole different ball game entirely.
Okay. So, what is one bad habit you've seen with every business you have encountered that it seems like this bad habit is recurrent in almost every startup and small business you come across?
Number one, never hire family and friends.
Okay.
Never hire family and friends. I would always advise, and I see this many times. Oh, he's my brother. I can train him.
Yeah.
Mm-mm. Remove sentiments aside. Get the best person. Never hire family and friends. Two, not having records. And let me say this as to it to be, not keeping records is a big issue. You're making sales, you're making money, but you're not documenting every sale you make. It will give you an issue long term. And keeping records is even as simple as the people you buy from, the people that buy from you rather, do you have their records? So most times when I ask business owners, do you have um, the phone numbers and emails of the people that have bought from you in the last 6 months? They're like, why? And the question then becomes, how then do you want to resell to them again? So then the third thing is taking company money or business money for your own personal money. Business money is not your money. It belongs to the business. There has to be that separation of this is the business, this is me. I can be running the business, but I need to separate myself and my pay from what the business gets.
So that brings me to my next question. How important is financial literacy when it comes to running a business? Now, I'm not talking about multinationals or like I'm talking about small business startups more specifically. Like someone who is in uni that starts a hair business, someone who is in doing NYC that starts a makeup or a nail business or even selling clothes. How important is financial literacy? And it seems like every single one of them skip this step. Why do you think that is?
Because we are more focused on the skill than the business side of things. Let me say this, there is tech and there is the business of tech. There is makeup and there is the business of makeup. You can learn the skill and still not understand the business side of things. Okay, so accounting, for example, people go to school to learn accounting, but there is the business side of accounting where people set up accounting firms, and that's a different ballgame entirely. Now, I feel like we are more interested in learning the skill than learning the business side of things. So, one of the things I've noticed is, and why most businesses crash eventually, is because the founder doesn't understand basic accounting. And that goes a long way. It goes a long way. The ability to identify what are assets, what are liabilities, ability to read a financial statement. If you carry the financial statement, how then do you want to go to the bank and take loans? Because it means whatever the thing the bank tells you, you will accept as long as you're getting the money. So you end up picking high interest rates and all of that. So financial literacy is a must. If you're going into business, just go and learn the basic accounting. You don't have to read to become a financial accountant. Just learn how to read an income statement. Learn what cost of goods are. Learn the difference between net profit and your gross profit. Learn what interest is. These basic things will help you. And most business owners skip it because they are so focused on sales.
Yeah.
Let's make these sales. When you make the sale, how do you record it? I've seen businesses that are not doing well per se.
Yeah.
But if you prepare a financial statement for them, they are actually on a very good path. They are breaking even. But because there is no accounting knowledge, they're like, oh, the business is not working. But it's working. You just don't know because you're not financially literate. And that's a whole issue in Nigeria particularly. Apart from even business owners, I feel like even people who have 9 to 5 careers, you need to be financially literate. If you're going to get to that managerial position, financial literacy is a must. How do you know what goods in your department are doing well? How do you know how much your department is making in relation to the entire organization? These are things that managers have to know. But well, we're not taught in school, so we just think it's not important. It is very important.
A lot of young Nigerians now run their businesses on WhatsApp, on Instagram, on TikTok. Everybody now is starting a business. Everybody now is selling one thing or the other. My WhatsApp status now is filled with from underwear to shoe to bags, and it's like everyone is downloading the same pictures for. I don't know. Everybody has the same product. Do you consider people who sell on? Yeah, we have online vendors, but those who like sell on WhatsApp, sell on TikTok, we have a lot of them who make a decent amount of money, but it's very like the people who actually can live on what they are doing is very little. But generally, would you consider online vendors real entrepreneurs?
So online vendors, yes. I wouldn't call them entrepreneurs. So, okay, where do I start from this? I feel like what most people do is trading,
Yeah.
buy and sell. The real purpose of entrepreneurship is in providing value. Anybody can buy and sell. I can go to the market, buy this cup, and resell it to somebody on the street. That's trading. It's not bad, but it's not entrepreneurship in itself. Real entrepreneurship is finding value or a problem people want, solving that problem for them, and getting paid. So there are different types of entrepreneurs. There are social entrepreneurs, there are capitalist entrepreneurs. So not every problem has to be paid, but once you're what's the word? You've seen a problem
Yes.
and you can provide value, then entrepreneurship begins. But for most people, it's just buying.
But if I'm playing devil's advocate,
Yeah.
I would say me selling. Let me look for something really ridiculous. Me selling male underwear
Yeah.
and providing value for people who need male underwear.
The problem then, providing value for people, how many people actually need that? See, I can go and buy this cup and sell it right now in the street. Question is, how many people on the street actually need this cup?
Okay.
I am providing value.
Yes.
Do you get? It's not necessarily about the value. It is there are people who want it, there, but they don't have this. So I am coming to fill in that gap. I can pick up anything and buy, but when I have seen a need and I keep bringing it and saying, okay, this is the solution to your need. Aha. It's much faster that way. You sell faster that way.
So, would you advise someone who's okay? I don't want to work a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Should I just go into trading? Because now you have separated trading from running a business or being an entrepreneur. Which do you think is easier to go into, and which do you think is more sustainable and scalable? Because people sell things all the time, and they make
Yeah.
all their life they sell and they make money. And some people, they find a problem, try to fix it, but get crushed because maybe it's a new innovation. It's not something. So, as a young person, I don't want to work a 9 to 5. I want to make a decent living. Where should I be looking at? Should I be a trader, or should I try to find something to fix in society?
They both do the same thing. It's just a matter of perspective, right? And I would always recommend, I would always advise, if you're avoiding 9 to 5 because you don't want to have a boss, I am sorry to paint it to you. You will always have a boss. Your customers are your boss. Yeah. Your investors are your bosses. The government is your boss. So I would always say before you start a business, go and work in a structured place first. Have that experience of how other people run. Or if you don't want to work in a structured place, go and learn from somebody who is doing what you are doing. That whole mentorship thing will save you a lot of, it will save you years of trial and error, trial and error. Now, you can see on your street and say, okay, now when I say value, it doesn't have to be something big. All right. Let's say on this street now, as we're coming, we're talking about paint and all of that. And let's say all the houses on this street don't have that, like they don't have numbers. And I offer and I say, okay, you know what? I'm going to paint everybody's number in a nice way on the street. That's a problem. It's not big. You get mail on that way. If I notice that all the guys on my WhatsApp status, they're always asking, okay, any contact for any contacts for this, and I start selling that. That's still the same thing. Do you get? But what I have a problem with is when you just go and pick a product without knowing who is going to buy it.
Sure.
Do you get? So many people are selling things that people don't need.
Or they don't actually know who they are targeting. They just hope
They just
that people would, which, okay, because I have had instances where, friends, colleagues start a business. And I'm like, I don't understand why this particular thing, why at this particular moment, just be like, oh, you have one quick 200K, you just want to, and it's always like, let me invest into something that will bring me more money. So I understand what you're saying, but still, at every point in time, as long as something is leaving my hand, someone else who values it is going to purchase it. So because I know people will still argue, because I think the word trader is maybe what people have problem with. I don't want to be, I'm not a trader. I run my business. But a lot of people don't actually run businesses. They just buy and sell. But everyone wants to like run a business, have a current account, and all. So let me kind of merge these two together. Is there a difference for let's come to the creative space, because we've been talking about buying and selling for a while now. Is there a difference between building a personal brand and building a business? And because there are two different things. And can the two of them, can I build a business and a personal brand together? And let me tell you why I'm saying this. Maybe 5, 10 years ago, the main thing was not even buying. I'm talking about in the creative sector now. The main thing was building a business structure. Like that was the main thing. People didn't want to know who you were. Do you understand? Just want to know that there's you have a company account, you have this, you have a letterhead, you have a business card. That was the thing. Even in the creative industry, you see, like it was a very, very business structured oriented thing. These days, it has come to the fact that you have to have a personal brand. People don't really patronize you for what you do per se. How popular are you? If you post my work, how many people see it? Do you understand? So now it's like, what is important? Because I know a lot of people who have solid business structures, but no personal brand. I'll use myself as an example. I'm an introvert. I'm not used to being out there posting my like I don't there are certain people that don't even know what I look like, and they've had my contacts for years. Do you understand? Because I'm not used to putting myself out there. But now in the last 5 years, it seems like now you have to be creating content. You have to be doing, who is calling my name? Is that Titi Lope? Is that, you see CEOs doing really cringe and crazy things. Like I remember one of the reasons why I left, one of the many reasons why I said I can't do 9 to 5. A couple of years ago, I used to work in maybe 2019. Yeah, that place where I used to. I don't want to mention any name. It was during Ilea or something, and they told full-grown men and women that have children at home to come and start dancing. Like come and dance, and like they were doing choreography, and they were videoing them to like put. And I was like, why? Like why? And you can't say no. You get what I mean? But like yeah, and then it seemed like not shade to them. A lot of people do it these days, but like if I leave this area and I have my own business, it's my business. Nobody can tell me to come and start dancing online. Little did I know that I have to do it even more. As a business owner. Like, like now, you have to have a person that will be videoing you, will be posting you, will be asking you questions. Like now, so let's come back to the question: which is more important, a business or a personal brand? Can you do both at the same time?
And you should. So the mistake most people make is nothing really changed. Nothing like, let me not say nothing really changed. No one became of more importance, right? Our attention span just shifted towards something else. Attention is the new currency, right? So you still need that structure. And there are places where if you don't have structure, they will not even give you audience. All right. But in today's world, because we've been burnt by so many brands that promise and under deliver, so people now want to see who is the real person behind this. It's more of why should I trust you? You get?
Yeah.
If you're more popular, the idea is you're less likely to do things that are shady. This is it's not always true, but that's the perception. Everybody knows this guy. Ah, no, he's so it's trust that people you're building with that. It's not necessarily your face, it's the trust to say, I am good at this, and this is why you should trust me and buy from me.
Yeah.
Right? Especially because of the whole Gen Z guys now, they buy from who they trust. It's not so even brands like Hermes, Louis Vuitton, people buy from them because they trust them. So that structure is important because it gives you some element of trust. The personal brand is more for the business owner who needs to build on a certain level of credibility. This is why you should buy from me. This is why you should trust the services I offer. Not every business in Nigeria or not every business globally does that. There are businesses where the founder is the most popular thing and they are the product. There are businesses where the founder doesn't need to be there, the product sells itself. So it's a matter of which approach do I want to take? Do I want to push myself out there as the founder, or do I want to push this product and push the team behind the product? But the truth is, people buy from who they trust. So even as you build your structure, you have to build that credibility. And that's where the whole content creation thing comes from.
I completely get what you're saying, and it's not like I don't understand, but because I want to understand it. A lot of the content is not centered around the business. It's not about fun and games. Like to be, I was on TikTok the other day, and I think in the space of 5 minutes, I came across two banks. Their employees are just playing. Do you understand? They're just coming, okay, sing this popular meme if you know. And it seems like there's a lot of pressure. Yeah, there's a lot of pressure to put out content to be. And like when I try to think about it, I don't think content on social media will necessarily say, "Oh, you know what? I was going to use UVA before, but that content Sterling did was really really nice. Let me go to Sterling." So it really doesn't. To me, it doesn't really change my perspective. But it seems like, and it's the thing where everybody's going in that direction. So it seems like there's something there that people are not seeing.
So it's all marketing, right? In your marketing funnel, the first stage is awareness. If people don't know you, they won't even buy from you. So what the content thing does, remember I said awareness is new currency.
Yeah.
So if people, what that does is they are creating awareness about the organization and the brand, whether you like it or not, because everybody these days is on their phones. So awareness is what that does for them. Now, after awareness is interest. Oh, these guys have seen their content twice. What do they do? Then, so people are now going into the funnel.
Yeah.
What do they do? Oh, I need this. Now, the more content you produce, the more you are at the top of mind. So there's what we call TOMA, top of mind awareness. The more you are at the top of people's minds, the day they have a problem that your brand solves, you'll be the first person that comes to their mind. So that's what content does. It's just that awareness. If most brands don't do content is because they have other ways of creating that awareness. It's the same thing with a billboard or those adverts of those days. Mimi noodles. You get what those things did were to create awareness. And then when you got to the market, it was like, oh, I've seen these guys. Let me try them. So that's why content creation is like the next big thing. It's like I said, it's simply following the same marketing principles. But for brands on a budget like mine, for instance, now, I don't have 100 million to spend per month putting billboards in every corner of Lagos. But if I get a camera, a camera is even too much. An iPhone, I can create content, put it online for less than 100K. And that content, I run my ads. It gets to people. It gets to people. So I'm still creating the same level of awareness to a larger number of people who are on social media. So that when they see it, they then pick it and say, what do these guys really do? And I'm sure you've done that. You see one company or one ad, you're like, what do these guys really do? You go to their profile, then you scroll like that, you're getting hooked. If they have a solution for a problem you already have, you're like, let me try. So that's the whole thing. You understand?
So let me ask you a question. Do you think the rise of content creation, I mean, it's a rise. It has marketing, I think, in a way, metamorphosed into content creation. But do you think the rise of content creation and influencers per se has changed the way we view business in Nigeria, or like globally, but specifically in Nigeria? Because in Nigeria, we're very big with people are just popular for being popular. It used to start with the Kardashians were the first people I knew were they're popular for being popular. They were just popular for being popular. But these days, you see people, and I don't mention anybody's name now, but you see people who they don't really do anything, but then a lot of brands just hold it. Even if you don't use it, just hold it. Just like So, do you think content creation and influencers has changed how we view businesses in Nigeria? Like, you see people who, because this person went to eat here, I'll go and eat here. Good or bad, I'll still go. You understand? Because this person is here. I also saw something. There was this person at one time, because a particular person went to a mall to to do something, she kept going to that mall in the hopes that one day I will jam this person here. Just and you see malls do it now. Even some subconsciously, we don't know some people. We don't want to seem silly because we have this. But it just when you actually didn't get ready with me, just slide your camera past our. So do you think that's really because before it used to be how serious you were. Do you understand? As a business, suit and tie, you know, black or white hard covered business card, everybody's. But now it seems like things are. Do you think it's because of like content creation and do you think it will last, or do you think we're going to like come back to the age of, because one of these things is that because of the high rise of content creation and influencers, a lot of brands, we'll get there, but let me just answer that question.
I think the content creation industry, or the influencer industry, yes, it has changed and it has risen over the years, and I think it will last because a lot of what we do is on social media. Even the rise of AI is because of the amount of information online. So it's an industry that can only get bigger, and yes, it has changed the way the world works. Like you mentioned, the Kardashians. Part of the reasons and their rise to wealth is because they had a huge following. So if they say this works, even if it's 10% of their follower base that buy that, it's a lot. And because these people have the attention, they have the numbers. So brands will say, instead of us putting a billboard for 1 million a month, 5 million a month, we give this person that has 5 million followers, it gets to, even if it's 1% or 10% of that, that's a huge crowd. So that's how that whole system works. So yes, it does work, and I'm not even going to lie. It can be annoying, especially for introverts. You just want to do your day, and then your staff is like, "No, we have to shoot content." It by force. It can only rise, and like I said at the beginning, there are many opportunities that industry has created. But even with that, it doesn't take away the seriousness of the business. Because if people, and this is where most influencers have issues, or most businesses that do content creation have issues, because if you promote something and people walk through the funnel and come and buy, and your customer service is not top notch, they will still come online and drag you. So it's no matter what you do, it's like two wings of an aeroplane. One wing is you need to have the structure to manage the customers that come in, your account and everything. And then on the other wing of the airplane, you need to be out there because people buy from who they know. I'm not sure you go to the market now, you see, let me use Omo, you see area, you use, I don't know if area is still. You see Omo, you see Sunlight, and then you see one new brand, maybe Zuchi. You're like, who the hell is Zuchi? I don't know these guys. You get, but if you've seen Zuchi online, I'm just using that, like 5 times, you're like, let me try this guy. That's what it does. It's just suggestive buying. You mentioned something subconsciously, but just like, let's do this. So if I see somebody I respect say, oh, I use this hair product and it's really nice, I'll be like, okay, it works for this person. Let me try it. So subconsciously, they have suggested to me that this is a good place. That industry is only going to rise and rise and rise over the years because have you noticed how many people actually leave their houses now to buy things? Everybody orders online. So if you have a store and you put one huge signboard on your street, the likelihood is you might not sell as somebody who does is posting video every day and has maybe like 200k followers.
So let's come back to the Nigerian youthful population who is trying to start a business. At what point in the growth of a business should a person start viewing themselves more as a business and less as a side hustle? Like, because a lot of people even work 9 to 5s and still post. So at what in terms of sales and in terms of recurring customers or visibility, at what point do you think maybe not necessarily quit your job and do this full time, but at what point should the switch in your head happen? Like, okay, this is no longer, yeah, like I'm making significant. Is it about the money? Like, for example, now, let's say you are getting paid 200k per month as your salary, and you're making 400, 500k as like with what you do on the side. Is it at that point you should switch, or is it about how long you've done it and seen, okay, this is actually sustainable? Because there are rise and falls in businesses. So at what point should something no longer be a side hustle and be looked at in a different light?
To be honest, it depends on the person and their goals. What are your long-term goals? See, I always tell business owners before you start a business, write your own personal plan. If this business grows to 20 years, what's the plan? Do I want to sell it off? Do I want it to be something that my children come and inherit? If you have that personal plan, you've written your 20-year plan, then you start the business. Even if the business is not doing well, you still have a plan. Do you get? But for most people, they do it as okay, there is no right or wrong, but it's majorly on your personal plan. I know somebody who makes 5 million a month, but she has a job in a bank. She just puts structure. She's my client. We just put structure for her. It's running. The only thing she does is every weekend she goes, inspects, does all the things she needs to do. But then she's working in a bank because her goal long term is to become the minister of finance. But she can't do that by running a business. So she has to grow through that. So that she's making serious money, but her personal her personal goal. So if you think you're making enough money to quit your job and focus on the business, why not? But again, because the business is making money does not mean the money is for you. Do you understand?
So, what mindset shifts do you think um, Nigerian businesses need to have to really make it, or if you really want to thrive in Nigeria, what mindset shifts do you need to have? Because there is the Nigeria way of doing business, there's a global standard of doing business. Sometimes people would say you have to think globally, but oftentimes what works in Nigeria cannot work outside Nigeria. and what works outside Nigeria cannot work in Nigeria. So you have to be very careful of how much change is necessary so that you don't alienate the Nigerian market. But you also don't want to make so little change that you are constrained just in the Nigerian market. So when you're talking about mindset shift, is there a balance, or what do you think, or what have you noticed people do or businesses do that make them sell locally but also be attractive for the global market?
Um, I think the first thing would be find a mentor. I cannot emphasize this enough. Find somebody who has been there. See, the person doesn't have to be popular. Find somebody who has been there. Introduce yourself. Learn from the person. It doesn't have to be direct learning. Meet the person. The, read their posts. Read their books. Read things they say, and introduce yourself to them. And then ask questions. One. The second thing I would say is um, know your numbers. Numbers are the same everywhere in the world. There are just little nuances, like I said, between Nigeria and others. There are different systems, but little nuances. Know your numbers. See, the major difference between Nigeria and the rest of the world is the rest of the world operates on a credit system. You can take loans easily and do that, and you can keep taking loans as long as you're showing some form of growth. Nigeria, it is cash based. How much money are you making? So a lot of the advice that we get from outside might not necessarily work. So know your numbers and then find somebody who is doing that and then learn. Learn. And then the last thing I would say for Nigerian business owners is don't get stuck on one thing. You must be see, you must be able to adapt and pivot quickly. Quickly. These are the don't get stuck saying, oh, this is my business and this is what I will stick with. Follow the money. Whatever is bringing money now, follow it. If you have a passion for this, good, I respect that. Wait. Fund the passion by following the money first. Then you can now.
Okay, so maybe that will bring me to my next question. How easy is it to move from? Because I know a lot of people who are popular but not profitable. Yep. In fact, a lot of money is coming in, but a lot of money is also going out. Lifestyle. Okay, there's certain things I wanted to say, but the person will know that I'm talking to him. You understand? But they are popular, but they're not They seem profitable, but they are not When you talk about profits, they are not profitable. Do you understand? And so, how do you think people can move not being from being popular to being profitable? Let me just add this to it. And certain people are profitable, but they're not popular, which is affecting their profits. Do you understand? Yeah. So, what can you do to move from being popular to profitable? And what can you do to increase your profitability by being popular?
Okay. For popular people who are not profitable, forget the vanity metrics. That's a real thing, vanity metrics. Forget all the vanity metrics. Look at the real numbers. Because you have a lot of followers does not mean you make a lot of sales from those followers. There are a lot of influencers who make more money from the influencing than the business they actually make, which is they're still making money, but the business is not making money. So forget the vanity metrics and look at your underlying numbers. Where are you bleeding? If that thing is not working for you, and this thing, I would even advise get an accountant, get somebody who knows their stuff to look at it, and then come to Boltzmann. Come to Boltzmann. But I would say follow the numbers. Ignore the vanity metrics. Look at the underlying numbers. Which one is doing well? Because if you have a business, you're probably offering like two, three things in that business. Which one is doing well? And then hammer or double down on that. Do you get? There's always that one thing that is the cash cow. And then if you're not making any money, me, I always tell people the only time you should quit a business is when there is no pathway to being profitable. As long as there is a pathway, you're seeing this is making money more than the rest. Leave the other one. Even if they're the popular ones, leave them. Double down on this other one. There's a reason why NBC, Nigeria Body, would push a particular product more than the other ones because that is the one that people buy the most. So they pump more money into that. That's what I would say. Then for people who are profitable but not popular, understand that people buy from who they trust. So all you have to do is you're already profitable. It means you're doing something well. All you have to do is get somebody to work with you who knows, who understands the whole concept of social media branding, and post your achievement or post your figures. See, you know the way doctors and lawyers and accountants used to be, right? Where people pay them for their time and all of that. That's how we are now. So if you know something, if you're doing something and it's working, people will pay to listen to you because everybody's looking for answers. So you're profitable, it means you're doing something right. Share your stories. It doesn't have to be perfect. People want authenticity more than glamorous. It's why on TikTok, nobody cares the person has a nice background. Or as long as what the person is saying is valuable, people will keep following, people will keep liking, people will keep sharing. So if you know what you're doing and it's working for you, share it. I'm not saying you can share your trade secrets or your business secrets, but share what has worked for you. And then people will follow. As long as you are authentic, you are true to yourself, people will come.
If you could classify Nigerian businesses as a type of coffee, what would it be? Would it be sweet, bitter, strong, or inconsistent?
Strong. Doing business in Nigeria is not for the weak. I say, doing business is stressful, but doing business in Nigeria is work. Doing business in Lagos, my God, it will test your mental health because it is one of the most gruesome tasks you can take. If you are dating a business owner, you are married to a business owner, just be giving them peace of mind because the things they go through on a daily basis, you get. So I would say strong.
So we are rounding up now.
Uh,
We've spoken about a lot of things.
mhm,
If you could tell someone who's just about to start a business or start trading
mhm.
one thing, this one thing will save you a lot in doing business in Nigeria. What's that one thing you tell them?
Oh boy, it's not one thing, it's about three things, but ignore the noise, make the money. Don't try to be popular. Make the money first. Then you can look for popularity after. One. Two, what you know is as important as who you know. It's as important as who knows you. It's not just who you know. You can know people, but they might not know you. So what you know, who you know, and who knows you. Then the third thing would be um, do not don't 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 make your business personal. Business is business. Be focused. Don't take money for personal reasons. Don't bring your personal biases into it. Let the business be a separate entity from you. And lastly, stay compliant. Get your business registered. Tax people are coming for business owners. Tax people are coming. Stay compliant. Pay taxes. Just stay on the right side of the law. Don't do anything shady. It's not worth the stress.
We've been talking about systems and to scale, and what are some low cost ways to scale a business without having a lot of financial, strain on the business itself, and without really needing investors or grants. You want to scale your business, but you don't want outside money into your business.
Let me first say this. The earlier you get outside money, the better for you in the long term. It doesn't have to be from investors, your parents, your friends. Oh, borrow me 100K. Write it down. So person borrow me. It helps in the long term. Like other people's money is a real thing. using other people's money is good early on, but even that there's a way to do it. Then how do you scale without having so much money? First thing is use technology. AI has made everything easy in this life now. Not everything, but a whole lot of things. So, as much as it's possible, get tools and pay for tools that would save you a lot of time and stress. Um, for my research, I used to get like assistants, like one person for research. Ever since I started paying for ChatGPT Plus, I'm like, you all are going to be all right, fam. Do you get? So, invest in technology. It can be accounting apps, it can be um, record keeping, it can be Zoom payments, but invest in technology that makes your work easier. Second thing I would say is instead of hiring 10 different people, get one solid hire, one solid person who is paid well and who knows what they're doing will outwork 10 people. I've seen this many times. People will hire five different people, and each person is just making the owner. As we were talking before, sometimes you have an assistant and you are assisting the assistants to assisting you. Do you get? So get one solid person who does that. It will see. One solid hire will change everything. Thirdly, there's a model I like to work with. It's called the asset light model. It's what Uber does, where they don't own the car, the driver owns the car. They simply pay the driver to use this car to offer a service. So you don't necessarily have to spend money getting things. Find people who already have the assets or the equipment you need. Pay them per each time you need to use it. And then you're good to go. You're a makeup artist. Instead of you spending money, getting rent for a shop, getting lights, getting this, you just buy your makeup tools. Go to a studio close by or have different studios around and you pay them for each time you use their studio. So instead of you investing heavily in so many things, you use other people's assets and you pay them per customer base. When you have enough customer base, you can now start investing in your own assets. Those are like the three major ones that I recommend.
Let me ask you a question. Some people often believe that to be successful as a business person, in terms of, we're talking a lot about structure,
Yeah,
they need physical
things.
things.
Yeah,
Like, for example, I'm a makeup artist.
yeah.
I cannot really be a makeup artist. I don't have a makeup studio.
Studio.
I'm a photographer. I cannot really be a photographer if
Photographer.
I don't have a studio. At what point do you think those things are necessary? And at what point? Because I'll give an example. I know a photographer,
Yeah.
a very, very, I don't just want to mention names. As at now, he's no longer in the country, but as at 5 years ago, 7 years ago, top five,
Wow.
you
Okay.
mentioned his name. Top three,
Top three.
you mentioned his name. If you really know what you're talking
Yeah.
about. But almost up until the time he left the country, he didn't have a physical studio. But it didn't matter to him because he has a name.
Yeah.
You are going to, where I say Shanit is where you
With
meet.
me.
But there are also certain people that today,
Yeah.
and even at that time to that, you don't have a studio. Are you sure? Yeah. Like if you cannot afford a
Say
studio, you
studio.
probably are not good.
Yeah.
So where, like, how do
What's
you? Yeah,
the
what's
balance?
the?
Okay. So personally, the reason why, let me come in from a financial standpoint. The
Yes.
reason why some people, if it's not okay, wait, how do I explain this now? The reason why people want to invest in assets is that they are able to take loans from the bank against those assets. So if I have assets worth of 10 million naira, I can go to the bank and say, I need a loan of 10 million naira. Hedge that loan against this asset. That was the traditional reason.
Yeah.
But if you're not going to need that, what's the point? Some people do it just for the name. Oh, I have this. If that's your reason, that's a vanity metric. There is literally no need. Use other people's assets. Now, there are people that have issues with you not having certain assets. When we didn't have an office space, people were like, "You don't have an office." I was like, "My team works remotely." Like, how does that work? It's one day, oh, it's not you that will come and tell me that. Yeah, I shall want to offer the service to you. You want the service, I be you don't want the service. You understand? So the balance comes from if you're going to invest in assets, Let those assets be things that generate income for you.
Yeah.
It's not just enough to have assets for having assets. If you are a photographer, for instance, and you have your studio, you have your lights and everything, apart from the times you have a shoot, how else are those assets making money for you? If they're not making money for you, they are just liabilities because they'll keep depreciating over time. So, um, if you have assets, apart from buying them and for the name, think of a way to make those assets work for you. I have a client who the company car, they use it to deliver stuff to all their branches and all. And one day she was like, you know what, this car, I want to hire a driver who does Uber. And I'm like, huh? She's like, yeah. So after the guy does delivery, he goes, drives Uber, he takes a certain cost from whatever he makes from the Uber. And I'm like, okay, that's actually smart because it's still company car.
Yeah.
It's not just branded, but it's generating income for the company. So if you're going to invest in assets, I would say, or in things for the business, let those things be able to generate income outside the traditional use.
In today's world, it seems like every single aspect of the market is being oversaturated. On this road, there are about 12, I'm not exaggerating. One day I was working and I just got carried away and I was counting 12 hairdressers. 12. This road is not up to 1 kilometer. 12 hairdressers. You find out now everybody is a nail tech. Everybody is a, and now I'm not even talking about, you need a lot of money to, you have a bank, I'm talking about people who just want to do something. Everybody on my status now sells clothes. Everybody is doing makeup. Now, so, and as someone who just wants to start, it almost seems like a lost cause because people don't, we've gone from the age of people booking or using your services because of how good you are. Now it's either because they know you personally or you have like a brand and now to build a brand also we've talked about it can be really, you know. So for someone who is just starting, okay, I want to start to sell clothes. I don't want to look for one big thing that I want to fix in this society. I just want to make ends meet. I want to sell clothes. But there are just so many people selling clothes. Is it still advisable for me to enter? Or do I need to look for something more unique? You understand what I mean?
Um, to be honest, in Nigeria, it can feel like we are oversaturated. But understand that we have a very high population. So sometimes the people in the industry are not even servicing the number of people of demand that is in that industry. For example, barbing. It feels like barbing is saturated. But when you sit down with barbers and they tell you that sometimes people come and people leave because they can't even meet up with the demands. You get?
Yeah.
So if you're going to start, I would say, first of all, ask questions. Okay, is there a high demand for this? And then find that thing that makes you unique. Find that thing that you see, it doesn't have to be something special. It doesn't have to be something big. There's a client I have, he repairs phones. And he was like, he wants to scale. And I was like, go down. You cannot scale by opening another shop elsewhere. What if you tell people that, should I say this one? Okay, free advice. What if you tell people that instead of them coming to fix the phone in your shop, you will come to their house and fix the phone for them? Game changer for him. So it's like, oh, my phone spoiled. Okay, he will just tell them, send me your location. Somebody will come and fix it in the next 2 hours. Boom. Do you get?
Yeah.
You just have to find that unique selling point. I recommend people to go and read Blue Ocean's strategy. It basically teaches you how to create a new market. That place can be saturated, but you need to find one unique thing that makes you different. There are a lot of consulting companies, but we were like, let business owners come and interact. That was our own say, okay, this is what we're going to do differently. We're still doing consulting, but we've created an avenue where business owners can come, find clients, you find suppliers in one place. That's it. So Find your unique selling points. That's why I said at the beginning that you test the market. Okay, people like this, people like this. If you're a hairdresser, or what is that unique thing that you can do? It doesn't have to be big, it just has to be very different from whatever that person is doing. And then people sell clothes. How did the whole thrift thing come about? Somebody sat down and said, "Ah, everybody's doing Okrika. Let's call it thrift. 5K thrifts. And every cloth they have is 5K, 5K. They are making their money. You understand? So you just find that unique thing. Go and read up Blue Ocean, and then it will help you.
Everyone wants to scale. Everyone wants to make money. Everyone wants to, improve their business, build their business. Is all scaling good scaling? And or is there a point where you should be very careful of how fast you're scaling? Because in my industry, there are certain people I have seen. I can list five names now for the top of my head. The one that was popular in 2020 was there. The one that was like it's just like, oh, this is the person everybody in 2021 was there. The one of 2022 was there. So when I see one that's by next year now, you used to have go, you understand, and it just seems like it keeps happening. And there are certain people who have, they've been consistent. Like we know that these people they are there, but it just seems like this is the one this one raining now, and it's like this person is just it keeps going and going and going, but it's very hard to sustain. Is that a function of scaling too fast, or is there a function of something else that went wrong? But it seems like everybody keeps making that mistake, and we will almost call it the way things are. But there are certain people who did it, but even till now they're still there. So there has to be something, a mistake that's consistent with everybody.
So I would say that um, there is a strategy to win the war, and there's a strategy to maintain the peace after the war. Winston Churchill won the war, but I think a few elections after he had won the war, he was ousted. So there are strategies to growth, to like growing fast, but you now need a different strategy to maintain that growth. And sometimes it's if you grow too fast, you don't have the systems to handle that amount of growth. Like for instance, if I give you say 100 shoots in a week, can you handle it? Do you get? So it means you're going to have other photographers. You're going to start scheduling. Do you get? So before you grow, one of the things I advise business is plan. You don't need, you might not have more than 10 clients. Plan for 100. Do you get? When you put those structures in place to say, okay, if I get 100 orders, who do I call? What do I do? If you plan as if it's coming tomorrow, when those orders come, you are ready to receive. So sometimes it's people grow fast, they grow fast, but then they can't handle the growth. So there is a lot of customer complaints. Oh, this person did this to me, and then the whole thing falls. Sometimes it's that you grow too fast to the extreme. Then there's some sort of balance that comes in, or people grow to a certain level and then they stop doing what got them to that level. Do you get? So different factors apply, and let's not forget it's dog in dog out there. As you are doing your own, somebody else is doing their own and doing it 10 times better. So where what I would say is, if you're going to grow, plan for the 100 times of what you're doing. Have that plan, have that structure in place to say, um, if 100 orders come, or 100 clients, or 100 customers come, this is how I will handle it. I would meet this person. I have these two extra suppliers that can supply. I can I can call this person to come in and fill, and there's a document that shows them what they should do. You understand? Then also, popularity does not necessarily mean profitability. Some people are popular. There are ways to engineer these things. Influencer marketing, influencers making noise about you, and it makes you feel like you're bigger than you are. So somebody can be popular but not profitable, and it's not sustainable long term. That's another thing. What I advocate for is grow consistently. The the people I know that have lasted 20, 25 years in any industry are people who have grown consistently over time. Don't seek popularity, seek profitability first.
So coming back to our system of doing things in the Nigerian market, do you think, lack of a better word, the corruption? Now, the corruption doesn't really mean stealing of money, or but like the fact that we don't have consistent lights is a corrupt, because we can afford to have consistent lights. We can afford to have cheaper pricing of fuel. We can afford to have all these things, but we don't. So it's the system itself is corrupt. But the corruption of the system is also an avenue for people to make money. So the people who are making money from selling cakes to buy fuel are not complaining that, because once we have 24 hours, nobody needs to sell cake to buy fuel again. So people are making money from this system, and some people are losing a lot of money from the system. Do you think the system in itself does more harm to the creativity of an average Nigerian, or gives a perspective in the global sense that is more helpful, that separates an average Nigerian from every other person?
Hmm, that's a tricky question. But the first thing I need everybody to understand is that every system in the world is different. The United States and Europe, they are both first world countries, but they have two different systems. What works in the US might not necessarily work in the UK or in Germany and things like that. Every system is peculiar for their own nuances and all. And Nigeria is no different. If you're going to run a business in Nigeria, I see, I tell people, study the system first. Nigeria has a very peculiar system. It's, I wouldn't say corrupt, but I would say peculiar. There are certain things you need to do if you're to grow. There are certain people's contacts you need to have if you're to make it big in Nigeria that everywhere else in the world necessarily might not need that. So, does it harm creativity? I would. It forces us to think in other ways, and every system does that. It forces you to face some realities that you would not face anywhere else. But every system does that. In Cameroon, there's a different system. I have a Kenyan friend in the UK who is complaining that the UK systems, they don't allow the UK system, it doesn't allow her to do this, it doesn't allow this. I'm like, but you're in the US. But the systems are different. That's how peculiar every system is. So our system forces us to have more grit, forces us to be more resourceful, forces you to be more, to have more connections, to network more. Because you know that, oh, all you need to, if this happens to you, if you can get this person's contact, it clears that way for you. Which in most other systems, it's not necessary. So our system forces us to think outside the box more. So that when we go to a different system and those challenges are not there, it's like, oh, okay. So I can even let's go on. But I wouldn't say it kills creativity, it just forces you to be more resourceful. Our not having 24-hour lights, 24 hours power supply, rather. If you go to a system and you now see 24 hours power supply, you get. I was in Equatorial Guinea last year for like a while, and they had 24 hours lights. I'm like, eh? You people can work anytime. And I was just enjoying the work because I'm used to Nigeria. Once you see lights, once you see you get, so it just forces you to think differently. And let me just put this out here. If you're into manufacturing of anything, just have miscellaneous expenses of 50% of your budget because things will come up in Nigeria that you did not plan. And area boy will stop your dispatch rider. Internet expense will just go up. So unexpected costs. It's a totally different system. I wouldn't say it's better or worse. It's just a different system.
Thank you very much. So, the final question. I ask this to everyone that comes on the show. What does success? What does success look like? Or what does it mean to you now, we're not talking about businesses now, we're talking about you have a business. How do you measure success in your business? What does it look like to you? Is success is there a general metric for success, or do you have a personal one different from like what we generally call success?
Okay, so I have two. For the business, what we count success is not necessarily how much we make, is by how many businesses we're able to help grow, how many businesses we're able to empower. That's our metric for success. There were times when years when we're not profitable, but we helped quite a number of businesses. So we're like, okay, next year we need to these businesses we now need to convert it into cash. So in Boltzmann, success is the number of businesses that we help to scale. Personally, for me, success is how do I define this? For me, success is being able to how do I explain this in a way that will please God? Success is being able to freely freely do the things I want to do when I want to do them. If it means being able to, and then the number of people I am able to take from level A to level B. That's it. Success to me is freedom of what do you call that thing?
Movement.
No, no. Success for me is the the freedom to do what I want when I want to. I'm not caged by this constraint or this constraint.
So I know I said that was the last question, but what you just said, no. Do you think it's possible to be successful but not wealthy?
Yes. See, we've grown accustomed in this generation to equate success to wealth. Wealth is good, but if you're defining wealth, is it in terms of financial value? If that is the only metric for success, no, 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 you have issues. You have issues because I know it's common. There are things money cannot buy. People will say, no, let me have the money first. I will be crying in the Bentley or things like that. It's good to have money. I'm not going to lie. I have tasted money, I've tasted suffering. I highly recommend. I make the money. But let your wealth be in three things: in God, in people, and in money. If you have people necessarily mean family and health, those four things. Oh my God, you can have money and be dying. No, no good reason now. So let your wealth be in God, people, health, and money. Because if you have people, you have money. That's the honest truth. So that's success. And then it's possible to have those and not have a large amount of money. As long as you're able to take care of yourself, that's me. As long as I'm able to provide for myself, my family, my wife, children, everybody else will be all right.
Thank you so much for coming. Mr. Anthony, the CEO of, is the co-founder of Boltzmann Group or Boltzmann. You can follow them on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, I'm guessing, Twitter, X, and maybe TikTok, since everybody's a social media person. All their details will be in the description. If you have any questions, please put them in the comment section. Send us an email, and we'll we pay for his time. This one is just you pay for his time, but the ones they can answer without booking a strategy session, we'll try to get them to answer it in the comments. But if not, you can always reach out to them personally, and they would, I'm sure they'll be able to help you. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe, to like, and to share. We are building a community, and I'm very thankful for those who are consistent. And we saw your messages from the last episode. We thank you very much, and have a good one. Bye bye.